Welcome back to another coffee and a chat. A few changes today. I don't know if you'll be able to tell or not, but but there is. So I've got yet another light. So I've added some light, which is good. Got some playing around to do with it. So today's a little bit of an experiment. And a different holder for my phone. So this is Ginger. It's the one that's doing this. I've got all these people that are trying so hard to help me. So we're going to see how this goes and if this does it or not. But this is my first time kind of playing with it to do a video, so I'm sure there'll be some more changes, but there's already some things that I really like about this. It is much easier to get positioned. It has a remote, and I can only take still pictures with the remote. Or at least that's all I've been able to figure out. Oh, if I could start and stop the video with the remote. Oh, we're talking perfection. But I don't think it does that. So I'm going to have to still reach in to do stuff. And that's okay. It just lets it all stay real, right? Okay. So today's story is brought to you by my dear friend Ginger. Yes, I always have to give credit where credit's due. I don't know. If enough people put their heads together, you may get me fixed yet. All right. I do so appreciate all the different ones, though, that have sewed into this channel and have been helping me navigate through things, because I really don't know what I'm doing, if you hadn't guessed. But I'm getting there. I'm learning, and people are helping me get some tools to make it a little better so that I don't have all the weird... Oh my goodness, if you guys saw some of the things I've done to work with what I have, yeah, you'd be like, oh my. And like I said, this is a scary place to be. I have to live there every day. So today I want to tell you about, share with you a story of something that happened to me when I was in high school. Now I'm going to tell you something about me, something very personal. And when I confess this, well, it's possible some of you are just never going to want to listen to me ever again. You're never going to want to see my face again. I mean, it could be over. I realize that, because this is a real controversial topic, or at least it seems to have been in my life, with people over the years. So here goes. I like musicals. I love musicals. My theory is if the whole world were a musical, this would be a way better place. We could all break out into song and dance over every little thing. And oh yeah, it would be an amazing world. I don't know. Heaven may be one big musical. Maybe. Oh, there'll be music, but probably not like anything I've ever known. So now you know. Can you still love me? Can you still respect me? I don't know. Okay, so in high school, every spring they did a big musical. This was like the highlight of the year for me. And I'd be preparing in December for the tryouts in April or March or whenever they were. And I mean, I worked backstage on set designs. I sang and acted, and I was very much a participant in every way that I possibly could be in the spring musical. Now, the tradition was that the leading roles were always held by seniors. Okay, it was like their seniority, and it was something they all looked forward to. Well, the year I was a junior, there absolutely were no seniors that were interested or capable of carrying a lead role. So our director had to start looking in other places. And so he decided he'd go to the juniors, okay, because we would be next in line. And so he had called me into his office. Now, the musical, my junior year, just so happened to be my favorite at that time, The Sound of Music. That's right. So my little heart was hopeful to get the role of Maria. So when this teacher, Mr. D, called me into his office one day to talk to me. Now, we were still doing tryouts and getting everything worked. And he told me, he goes, look, I don't have any seniors that can carry the role of Maria. So I'm going to the junior class. And honestly, you're Maria. And he goes, I'm just going to tell you that right now that you have the part. You can't tell anybody yet until the call sheet, the official call sheet is listed, and then, it'll be there. But, he said, I just don't see anybody else being my Maria. Okay, you guys. He might as well told me I won the lottery. I mean, there wasn't even a lottery back then, but that I was getting $1 million or whatever. I mean, this was like the dream of all dreams coming true. I was going to be Maria. Oh, my word. Couldn't tell anybody, though. I was so excited. But I still, had to tell my best friend. Definitely told my mom. And my mom even clarified it with Mr. D that he truly had indeed said that. And he said, yes, but we can't let anybody know until after the tryouts are all done, let everybody do. He goes, but I just don't see anybody else capable of carrying the part. Now, this was very flattering to me. It made me very happy. And like I said, it was a dream come true. So we're going through I'm going through the motions. We're doing the tryouts and, all the girls sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow. I swear that's the only song we ever seemed to know to use for a tryout. And you got, I think, kind of sick of it by the end of the day of hearing so many different people sing that same song over and over and over again. But went through the tryouts and everything was going, and Mr. D was just really, I'm trying not to say his real name, so we're just calling him Mr. D. But he was, really just, like, you got it, girl. You're going to do this. He had already given me the script, learn your lines, learn your parts, all the stuff, where you're supposed to stand, when, the different things you do. Learn it, get this down, And I was so committed. See, I'd seen Julie Andrews in The Sound of Music and her hair all cut short. And I was like, Mr. D, I'll cut my hair off for this part. That's how bad I want this part. That's how excited I am. If you want me to shave my head to be Maria, I'll do it. And he's like, no, I think it'll be okay. You can keep your hair. My hair wasn't really super long. It was just like maybe just past my shoulder, but but I was ready to go cut it. I mean, I was into the part and I was ready for this. So I did notice that probably 3 or 4 days before the call sheet would come out that would show who had what roles and who the understudies were for each role, that he kind of started distancing himself from me. And I remember thinking, maybe it's my imagination. Or maybe he's just trying to, keep it all cool so nobody will know that he had given me the part in advance. I don't know. Well, it didn't really matter that much because everybody, even other ones that were trying out for Maria, kept saying, you're obviously Maria. That's obviously going to be your part, and everybody had it set in their mind that I was Maria. I knew I was Maria. Well, there was this girl that was a sophomore, and she came from a very wealthy family. And the morning that the call sheet came out, normally I would have been running to school to be the first one there to read the call sheet. But, I had that confidence. He told me it was my part. So I kind of, just came to school regular and, and started heading towards the drama department. And a bunch of kids came pouring out, running up to me going, oh, Angie, you're not going to believe this. And I'm like, what? And they go, you're not Maria. You're the understudy. I'm like, what? And they go, yeah, this girl, this sophomore girl, that we won't use her name, but that everybody knew, she got it. And I'm like, what? That doesn't make any sense. And so we went, and the call sheet was just outside the drama teacher, who was also the director. It was just outside of his office, out of Mr. just outside his office door. And so we went and looked, and sure enough, understudy, not Maria, understudy for Maria. And then my name showed up another place on the call sheet, which was one little tiny bit part of Sister Margarita, or Marguerite. Was she a Margarita or just a Marguerite? I don't remember. I think it was just Marguerite. Anyway, and she just had one little bitty solo in the whole musical. And I had that part, as well as being Maria's understudy. Yeah. I couldn't hold the tears back. They just started to flow. And I turned around, and there Mr. D was sitting at his desk, kind of sheepishly looking down. And I started to walk over, and I'm like, Mr. D. And as soon as I said his name, he reached over with his hand and slammed his door shut, right in my face. He obviously didn't want to talk to me. I was devastated. This was a huge crisis in my junior life. There goes, see, my computer went to sleep. Wake up. Come on, let's get to the right. There we go. Okay, we're good again. I got to remember to keep the computer awake. I don't know. So it was absolutely the most devastating thing of my life. I didn't think I was ever going to recover. I don't know. When you were 16, 17, did you ever like maybe overreact to things? Did things that later in life would be so small at that moment seem huge to you, the biggest thing in the world? Because for me, it was. The world had come to an end, and this was the biggest devastation that I could possibly face. I didn't stay at school. I didn't go to my first class. I went home, and my best friend came with me. And so we got there, and I could hardly tell my mom what had happened. She's like, what is wrong? Because I'm just sobbing. And my friend, she was trying to help me tell her, and my mom's going, what? No, that's not right. He told me that he had already decided on you for the part. And I'm like, well, it wasn't me. It's this other girl that they put there. So my mom went down to the school and would not take no for an answer. My mom could be so tough at times. And so she talked to Mr. D. She got in his office and she talked to him. And she had me in tow with her, and she demanded an explanation. Well, I thought the poor man was going to have a heart attack, a nervous breakdown, something, because he surely did not want to explain this to us. But then he told us, look, he goes, there's been so many budget cuts. He goes, I don't have enough money to put this musical on. He goes, I borrowed costumes from some of the other high schools. I've, different things that we need. Because one of the other high schools had put the same musical on, like 7 or 8 years earlier. And so they had all the nun habits. And so he goes, I was able to get those from them. And, and he goes, and I've done all these things. And he goes, but I don't have enough money to make all the costumes that have to be made. I don't have enough money to build the kind of sets that I really want to be able to do for this, because this should be a big over-the-top production. This family is very wealthy, and they came to me. They wanted their daughter, because this was her dream part, and they wanted her to have it. And so they promised to fund the entire musical if I'd give her the part. What was I supposed to do? I had to give her the part. And that's how it is. And he goes, and I'm sorry, I should never have said anything to you before. And anyway, honestly, now I will tell you, I feel so sorry for the girl that actually ended up being Maria, because everybody was opposed to her being Maria. People treated her terrible. The kids that wrote for the school paper, there were some of them that were purposely giving bad reviews, even when she did a good job, because they were all offended because Angie should have been Maria. They all felt it. They all agreed with it. And that's not what happened. And that kind of made me uncomfortable, to tell you the truth. it started changing things, but for how I was looking at it. Because at first I just was like, I'm a victim here. And then it's like, okay, wait a minute. Now this poor girl's a victim. And the thing, as an old woman now, I look back and I'm like, I wonder if she even wanted her parents to do that. She may not have wanted them to do what they did. She may not wanted them to buy her the part. She may have been embarrassed and humiliated that they did that. Now, at that time, I wasn't thinking anything of it. I was just like, I wish my parents were rich and they could buy me the part, you know? Oh, my word. But I was like, I wanted to pull out of the whole thing. I didn't want to do the part. You know, I was really upset. And I remember my mom, when we came to grips that this is what it is. We're going to have to deal with it. And I remember my mom sitting me down and she said, look, you already know the part of Maria. You've been studying for it. So you're covered as an understudy. You know, she goes, keep it fresh in your mind just in case something were to happen and you had to step in. But in the meantime, you are Sister Marguerite. You do have that one little solo and that one little acting part. My mom said, pour everything you've got into it, into that one tiny little segment that's yours, and be the best, most amazing Sister Marguerite that there's ever been. And quit focusing on what you don't get to do. Focus on the opportunity you do have and give it your all. You know, that was some really great advice from my mom. It changed my focus, and I quit doing the woe is me, and I started to throw myself into the part, this little bitty part that I had. I did the best I could. I mean, it was what my whole part of, you know, anything single, that was what it was. I don't even know if it was a full 3 minutes, but I'll tell you, it was spectacular 3 minutes. And I had fun doing it. By cutting my focus off of what I lost and putting it on to what I did have, it took away from this negative attitude. It really helped me get myself in gear and do something with it, and not just sit there and feel sorry for myself. And so why am I sharing this with you? What's my life lesson? Because guys, things do not always work out the way we want them to, right? And what do? We can sit there and spend so much time belly aching about how it didn't work out the way we wanted it to, and focus on what we don't have and lose sight of what we do have. And sometimes we just got to let go of that dream, let go of that desire, because it's just not going to happen. And instead, look at what we do have and do our absolute best with what opportunity we do have. It changes everything. I believe that's the way God wants us to conduct ourselves. I don't think he wants us to sit there and wallow in self-pity. I don't think he wants us to feel like we're victims all the time. Sometimes we are victimized, but then we do whatever we can do about it and move on and let the focus be on what we do have, what opportunities are in front of us. So maybe you've had a huge disappointment here lately. Maybe you thought you were going to be Maria, and now you know you're not. Somebody else, whether it's fair or not, whether it's right or not, whatever. Somebody else gets the part and you don't. The world has not come to an end. All hope is not lost. You still have something. Even if it's just a little bitty couple of minutes of being Sister Marguerite. So whatever it is you do have, do your absolute best. You know, maybe you didn't get that promotion at work and somebody else got it. But you still got a job there. You still got a position. Be the best person in that job, in that position that they've ever had. Because see, when we start doing that and we rise above the disappointment, then people begin to look at us in a different way, in a better way. They take notice of that. It would have been really easy to just be all about sour grapes the whole time. After a while, I'm telling people, quit picking on her. She is doing a great job about the other girl. It's like, leave her alone already. She got the part. It doesn't matter why she got it or any of that. She's got it, and she's doing a great job at it, and we need to applaud her. I will say I am thankful that the Lord has worked in my heart over the years, that I am not the person. I mean, it doesn't mean I've never tore anybody down, that I've never done anything to him, but I'll tell you, my heart does not stay there very long, and it repents and it regrets any sadness, even if, or any harm, even if it seems that person deserves it. It's not my place. I'm not the judge. I'm not the jury, and I'm sure not the executioner. All of that belongs to the Lord. It's his to deal with, not mine. That's what forgiveness is all about. And this girl really didn't wrong me at all. Her parents, maybe, but they were just trying to, do something for their daughter. I don't think it was the right thing to do, but it's what they did. The teacher kind of wronged me, but still he felt caught. I mean, and it's not that I'm just trying to make excuses for people, but everybody has their side to the story. Everybody had their position where they felt trapped, or they felt it was a once in a lifetime opportunity and they didn't want to lose it, or whatever. None of that matters. What mattered with me is what I did with what I had. So, yeah, it was a little rough going in the beginning, but I came through that one okay. And it was no longer the greatest disappointment in my life. I could run into that girl today and I would not feel anything ill against her, even if she brought it up and said, hey, remember I beat you out for that or whatever. I don't think it would even faze me. I would legitimately be interested. So what's happened in life? What have you, where have you been? What have you been doing? How's life been treating you? Are you happy? Are you well? I think I would genuinely care about her. Now, that first day when I saw that call sheet, that's not how I was. I guarantee you that was not what was going through my mind for her. So, whatever I've got. What is that? When life gives you lemons, make lemonade? Yeah, that probably works right here. Probably does. So think about it. Don't focus on your disappointment. Don't focus on what you lost. But what do you have? And how can you do the best with it? All right. I gotta go. I gotta get back to work. I've had a long enough break, although I still have a half a cup of coffee that I'm gonna finish. But I hope you guys are having a great day today. I hope that things are going well for you and that you're getting to know God a little bit more each day of your life. I've known him for a lot of years, but every day I get to know him just a little bit better, just a little bit more. And that's what really matters. That's what really counts. And I get a little more committed, a little more sold out to him. I just want it to be for him. And I want the same thing for you. If you don't know Jesus like I know Jesus, I want you to know him that way. And if you do, then I want you just to keep growing. Keep going forward in the things of the Lord, because he is the answer to whatever we face. And as long as we've got him, we've got everything we need, even in the disappointments of life. All right. I love you guys, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Now I've got to lean in and push the